Welcome back to the program. Now, the Apache is one of those slightly affordable yet sporty bikes, isn't it? But if you want to go really high-end when you go sporty, well, then things can get pretty exciting these days. And here in the Indian market as well, there's lots that's available. But last week I promised you something even more special through a special segment, isn't it? So finally we kick things off now with my favorite sporty rides, and we begin with a nice big exclusive. This one is something you got a sneak peek of on the show before. It's the RS5 from Audi, a CNB exclusive on our new segment. There's always a sense of excitement and trepidation I feel when I am set to get behind the wheel of a sports car. And one like this, whose looks may seem a little deceptive, well, it adds to the intrigue, quite frankly. The Audi RS5 drove in globally in mid-2010. And it's acknowledged by most as worthy of carrying that RS badge. It's based, of course, on this car, the A5, one of the most beautiful car designs from Audi. The A5 was also the first Audi to sport daytime running LEDs. And it, along with the slightly sportier S5, was launched over 3 years ago. So Audi needed to do something exciting with the 5 range, and so it took that car and gave it a serious steroid shot. Look at the flared wheel arches and the awesome sporty grille that came out of that. Grrr. So we've already told you on CNB that the RS5 is very seriously being considered for India. Now, what is this car all about? Of course, it's a performance-oriented, very dynamic machine, and it's going to be for that kind of a buyer. So very niche in the Indian context. Also pretty niche here in Germany, I might add. But it's also for those people who don't really want a car that screams sports car. So while it drives like one, it still has a bit of a sedan-like silhouette. Of course, it's a coupe, but it still doesn't give you that typical, really out there sporty look. And I think that's what might appeal to a lot of people. There was, of course, even at the company, I'm sure, this huge question that, is that kind of buyer really there in India? Well, I think, in fact, that is the kind of buyer, because you also get the little second row of seats, and so of course that means that you might want to take your kids out on the weekend. Well, this car lets you do that. In terms of overall appeal, the look of the car is very much like the regular A5 in its overall stance and overall shape, but look at the front. Really, really sexy looking grille. It's done in black. You've got the RS5 badging. Nice sporty bumper down here as well, and of course the characteristic A5 family LED light treatment. So when you look at the car in the front, it does give you this impression of being really growly and sort of really ready for action. The side, well, of course, it's a coupe, and so that gives you the sporty stance. It's a nice tinted black roof on the top, of course, glass I mean, and so that's a nice little touch. Again, fairly sporty. And then as you come along the side, there's a little bit of a side skirt and huge 19-inch wheels. Of course, all of this is optional. In India, perhaps such low-profile tires may not work. And then, of course, you come to the back, and that's where things get a little sexy again, because the taillight treatment, really nicely done. And you have that pop-up spoiler here, which goes up when you're driving at higher speeds. And finally, once again, the RS5 badging at the back rounds things off. So, really dynamic-looking car. And, of course, it looks great in red, doesn't it? So all that's very well. You want me to drive it now, don't you? I'm sure you want to see the technical specifications on this beast, and before that, let me tell you that they've really worked. The engineers at Audi have worked on making sure that the car sounds like a sports car too. So that exhaust, well, it's been worked on. And the other thing I want to mention here is that there isn't really a direct competitor in the true sense, segment-wise, to this car in the Indian market. Of course, you have cars like the Porsche 911, which could also compete, because in India, as I said, sporty cars, the options are limited. But there is one car that really comes close to this one in terms of even the right kind of segment and the right kind of appeal, We're talking about the BMW M3. Another little red-hot monster that we showed you on the program quite a few months ago. So we'll refresh your memory on that. But first, the promised tech specs. The figures read very well, but they belie what a gem that gearbox is. Very quick and effortless gear shift. Saying that it's satisfying would be an understatement in both manual and auto modes.
NDTV's Cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.